one of the things I enjoyed seeing the other day was Stephen Miller. Guy's just amazing. Stephen Miller on Maria Bartiromo's show on Sunday Morning Futures. And I've decided that in addition to Andrew Breitbart's War, which I have to listen to every once in a while just to get pumped up, just to remember that I have to fight back, Rage Against the Machine and all that stuff. Yeah, we should be doing that. We should not be going out on the streets and, knocking up people outside the head, but we should be working very hard for what is right, standing up for what is right. And so Maria asks him, my close personal friend Maria asks Stephen Miller, okay, what's at stake here?
The Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison. There's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
Now, so that is, now that's going to be my go-to. When I need to feel pumped up, when I need to have somebody say, oh, Victoria, go out and get them. I'm going to play that one and the Andrew Breitbart one. Something else happened today. We've got so much news. Check this out. So we've got this happening. This is the annex. And then we had Chairman Comer, who's in charge of the Oversight Committee, subpoenas Bill and Hillary Clinton, former U.S. attorneys general, and that's how you properly say it. It's attorneys general. The attorneys part of it is the plural, not the other one. And FBI directors' records related to Jeffrey Epstein. They want to know what's going on here. All right, we want full transparency, and we're calling you in there. And there are Republicans being called in to give testimony, depositions, if you will, to answer about Jeffrey Epstein and why he kept getting off. Who magicked up that 2008 special deal he got that Alan Dershowitz was his attorney for? How did he get all these special, getting off on all these stuff? I keep saying that, don't I? Apologies. So here's what it says. House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, Chairman James Comer issued deposition subpoenas to Bill and Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Loretta Lynch, former AG, Eric Holder, former Obama AG. In fact, he and Lynch, former Obama AGs, Merrick Garland, Biden's former AG, Robert Mueller, the former FBI director, and of course the author of the Mueller report, which found out that there was absolutely nothing wrong that Donald Trump did to cozy up with Vladimir Putin. That was underscored by Durham's report, which found out that in its most anodyne way, that there was no reason, they had no legal reason to start the investigation. And now, as we know from the Durham Annex, as well as others, just verifying, they all knew. They all knew it was fake. They all knew it was Hillary Clinton's Oppo research starting the Russia collusion thing. And then they carry it off using our investigative agencies, intelligence agencies, FBI, to carry the water for Hillary Clinton and lie like a rug to the American people. Indeed, someone put it like this. They said, in fact, it was the HIPSI chair, that's the House Intelligence Committee, the Standing House Intelligence Committee, said this was a major psychological operation against the American people. So now what are we doing? I mean, I recognize that the Russia collusion thing is different from the Epstein thing, but people keep mixing them up. And because they say, well, you know, Trump wants to change the subject. He wants to deflect attention. Okay, well, you want some attention on the Epstein thing? No. Robert Mueller, Bill Barr, all coming in, we think. They've been subpoenaed. Jeff Sessions, Alberto Gonzales. Now, why is Alberto Gonzales being called in? Remember, he was AG for a little while under George W. Bush, but he was the AG when that special deal, the sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein, was made. And that is why he's being subpoenaed. Okay, you guys want a whole of government situation to go after the Epstein information? Let's do it. Bring it on. So Bill and Hill, let's see. We got Alberto Gonzales is coming in August. So's Bill Barr, Department of Justice records. Jeff Sessions, August 28th. Robert Mueller, September 2nd. Loretta Lynch, September 9th. Eric Holder, and goes on and on and on. And Hillary Clinton's coming in October 9th, and Bill's coming October 14th. Yeah, nobody's coming in together. So, I mean, it's kind of wild, right? Finally, right? Yeah. I don't know what to say. It's just so disheartening. I mean, I have done a lot of reading for my whole life about Watergate and how bad that was and this and that. And then you find out later that the CIA was manipulating the media in that story. Why? Because it was the CIA who wanted to go to the Watergate Hotel to plant bugs so they could find out what people were hooking up with hookers at the DNC, because they had a hotline for hookers. And they wanted a clear view so they could put their bugging equipment at the place across the street. And then they of course, they tapped the phone too to find out who was calling for the hookers. The secretary at the DNC, yes, was doing that. And she was taking the calls and passing them along to another desk that was generally unfilled. And, you know, you start learning stuff like this. And you have no trouble believing that the CIA, FBI, not the NSA, but because Admiral Rogers was a stand-up guy, all put into the service of covering up, in this case for Hillary Clinton, in the case of the Russia collusion thing. And then having the President of the United States order the cover-up, which is ordering a new intelligence assessment so that he could give Donald Trump fake news. Wow. I'll see you back here on Thursday. Good guest on Thursday, so hang in there. And much, much more on what's going on with respect to this. It's not always going to be about Russia. But it is the biggest political scandal of our time. Bigger than Watergate times 1,000.